Hi, hello, and welcome to the Pandemic Diary 2020. I'm Jonah Chong, and today we're going to be speaking about how the COVID-19 pandemic is taking a hold of the whole world. We're going to be talking to people how it has affected their lives, their incomes, and we're going to be just talking to the regular guy on the streets, from the regular guy to the streets to entrepreneurs, stars, and the whole works. Um, Now, today I'm going to introduce my co-host, Emily Blake. Welcome, Emily, to the show.
Hello, Joan.
Hi, Emily. Hi, Emily. Tell the viewers about yourself.
So my name is Emily Blake. I'm a presenter, singer, and plus-size model, and I'm also known for competing in national and international beauty pageants.
Yay! And together we are going to be interviewing our very special guest. And who is that guest, Emily?
So excited to introduce Empress Rose.
Yay!
There she is.
Hello, Empress
Thank
Rose.
you for joining
Empress
us.
Rose, thanks
Yes,
for joining us. I know it's the wee hours of the morning for you. She is coming across from us from Boston, the USA. So it's what time over there it is for you?
it's currently 6:43 a.m. However, I'm a morning person, so no need to apologize. I'm up at 5 o'clock.
Thank
I
you
had
so
a
much for
feeling
getting
it.
out of your bed and joining
Yeah.
us this morning on the Pandemic Diary 2020. Now, Empress, tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself.
So yes, everybody basically calls me Empress Rose, but yes, I'm a business executive. I own my own label, and being able to own my own label, I wear different hats as a producer, a songwriter, and just the daily happenings of a record label itself. Outside of the record label itself, the name of the business is International Stars, by the way, INTLSTARZ. And besides music, we do athletic and arts as well.
Athlete plus, your athlete plus uh, CEO of a record label. You
Mhm.
own your own management company for artists. How much people are on your label? How much artists are you managing?
Currently, there are 28 artists, and
Mm-hmm,
Wow.
we do various genres. So, of course, I'm
mm-hmm,
originally Jamaican, so we tend to get a lot of reggae acts on our
mm-hmm.
roster. However, we do have hip hop artists, jazz artists, just different genres, so to speak.
Okay, good, great. And apart from doing that, where do you find the time to do your athletics and
Well,
also community work? I know you belong to a lot of chartered boards. Um, Tell us
yeah,
about this. You're athlete plus a CEO of a record label and management team. And on top
yes.
of that, you find time to work with the community. You belong to
Mhm.
several boards, chartered
Yes.
boards, with
Mhm.
reference to what? Tell us about that.
So, a humanitarian at heart, you know,
Hmm.
I've always, it is just something that was instilled in me. So, there are various charities and various things that I myself have put in place across the world. So I have various programs. I have a program in Kenya, Ghana. We're currently working on a program in Gambia and one in another in Ghana as well, in Haiti, in Jamaica, and even the U.S. itself. And it's basically calls for specializing in persons who need assistance. So part of my business, I'm a 501(c)(3) company, and we're able to acquire funding, or to assist some of the failing communities in different countries with various, what they may need, some of the things that they may acquire
You text
of
it now. I
us.
can't see properly your text. I can't see.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, Emily. Any questions you'd like to ask Empress?
Yeah, I mean, you've got so many different strings to your bow. You say you wear lots of different hats. I'm
Yes.
really interested to know exactly where it started, and what was the first thing that you did that led to everything else blossoming after.
I'm being asked that question on an everyday basis because working, especially in the music, a lot of persons or new persons that are not aware of who I am um, would like to know, like, how did I get started into music and the promoting and producing? I actually started writing songs, I would say about 6, 7 years old. I studied the works of Elton John, artists such as Elton John, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, of course, Bob Marley, Lucky Dube, Dara Tuku. Um, Dara Tuku, those guys are African. So I think where I bonded now with a lot of African artists as well who are on my label, it is something that's, I guess, I grew up listening to African music. I have a special love for African music outside of, reggae. And I wouldn't so much label it as African music, but I think I was impressed by the the art, impressed by the social, impressed by just how everything operates in terms of Africa itself. And it's worked itself in over the years. Because I've been doing music for so long, the primary things feels as if I'm not working. And they say you're having fun when it is that you feel like you're not working. And as well for track and field, I started running track and field at a very young age as well, out of high school, and all of that. So these things just feel like the norm to me. So now it is that I'm not competing anymore, but I do have my own track and field club where I train athletes for the national championships and the Olympics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, I suppose a lot of people will be wondering how you could manage your time. You must feel like you need to be in a million places at one time.
Well, the thing for me is that some of this is seasonal, which really helps.
Ah,
On a yearly basis, I would say the month of September to about the second week in October, those are my downtime. That's my downtime because the track season is over, and September and October, it is that not doing a lot in terms of music, not unless it is that I would have like artists who are performing in Europe because which the indoor facilities, the indoor clubs in Europe. And I wasn't not very knowledgeable on the European side in terms of being over there for years. So I really haven't done anything in Europe. I've concentrated in other parts of the world, but September and October are my down months. For the rest of the year, where it is that I have to juggle in between the track and field and music, um, I do have assistants for that. And they help me out a lot, so that's good.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I'm glad to hear that you have those few months where things aren't as busy for you. So to finally be able to put your feet up a little bit, maybe. You seem to me like someone who is on the go all the time. Do you relax?
I try to.
Okay.
I no, to be frank with you, a few years ago, I always just work until I became tired.
Mm.
And then I realized that's not good. So for last year, something that I started included in my routine was to ensure that I take 2 days off. So I work 5 days, and the next 2 days, there's no track and field any of those. So on those 2 days, I basically fasting and praying on those days.
Okay.
So, yeah, fasting and praying on those days and staying clear of social media because I do so much social media work that, it's great to not do anything for 2 days and give you a fresh mind again since you're working
Mm.
in high profile industries as well. very high impact, where it is that always going in term, and you're dealing with a lot of personalities. I'm dealing with athletes who their personalities are very big because they think that they can do anything, and then you're dealing with artists who has various personalities as well, so it helps.
Yeah, that's really good. I can probably do with learning a few tips from you on having that downtime as well. And it's
Yeah.
brilliant that you have a break from social media as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it really helps. It goes a long way.
Mm. So what's your day-to-day normal life like? So before COVID-19, what's your typical day?
So
Mhm.
for this time of year, typically, doing small shows. I work with various tiers or various levels of artists and athletes as well. So right now in March is when the track season, the indoor season, because I'm living in New England, so it's colder on this end, and the season normally ends the last week in February, sometimes the first week in March. So it's time to getting prepared for outdoors. And
Mhm.
as you know, it's Olympic year. It would have been Olympic year, but that is postponed for 2021. So this time of year, would be looking forward to, you know, getting ready for outdoor season and to go
Mhm.
outside and, breaking from the cold weather to a little bit more of the
Like
spring
all the.
weather.
Mhm.
Yes. And then on the music side is doing a lot more of the smaller events, or it depends on if the artist is coming out with an album. We have things planned around it, maybe a media tour, stuff like that. For this year, there's actually an album that we have planned for the first week of April, but
Mhm.
due to COVID-19, we had to offset the release, and it will be released later this month. And so we talk about that a little bit more when
Mhm.
you're ready for us to do that.
Okay. You were saying a little while ago it has stopped the release of your album. You mentioned something about the Olympic a little while ago. How
hmm
were you going to be involved in the 2020 Olympic this year?
Well, I have athletes in training. Of course,
Mhm.
we didn't get around to the trials as yet, but this,
Mhm.
now is the time where people are preparing for trials. Would have been preparing for trials. Of course, you just don't train a few months for trials. It
Mhm.
has to be years ahead of time in preparation to get to this point, and ready to compete, because it can
Mhm.
become very trivial at times as well. And so right now, that's what we would be doing. We'll be preparing for
Okay.
the, the Olympics, but because of COVID-19, is postponed for
Mhm.
July 2021.
Mhm.
On the music end, yes, there was an album that was supposed to be coming out early this
Mhm.
month, and I pushed it back for an additional 3 weeks.
I
Uh,
I I'm going to interrupt you there with
mhm.
reference to the album being pushed back for 3 weeks. You're not saying everything about that, Empress Rose. You forgot to mention that you've written something on that album.
Oh well,
You've
yes. Well, yes.
Why are you avoiding? Come on, tell us about the song that you've written for the Olympics. Come on.
Well, I'm a songwriter. So what happened
Mhm.
actually is that for myself, I have a book as well that I want was
Mhm.
have been released 2 years ago. But
Okay.
when I realized that it is that I'm writing a song that for the Olympics, and I said, okay,
Mhm.
you know what? Why don't I take advantage of this
Mhm.
stage, so to speak?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I have a song that would have been released then, but I'm not going to release it for
Okay.
this year. I'm going to release it for
Uh-huh.
2021, of
Okay.
course. And for the book itself, I'm not going to release the book as well. I'm going to wait until
Mhm.
next year to release the book as well, because the book is based on music and track and field. And where it is that the music side is not necessarily pushed back, but
Mhm.
for the athletics, for track and field, is pushed back till next year. I want to take advantage of both stages at that
Okay.
time.
So
Yes.
this is one of the way COVID-19 has affected your business side. Is there any I'm not we're not going to talk money, right? But I'm going to still mention it
Mhm.
still adds up to a financial loss in some way.
Yes.
Is that the case? There is a financial loss. Yeah,
Of
because
course.
you were
Of
talking
course.
earlier on to Emily and saying that the tours have been canceled, plus
Hmm.
your personal appearances have been canceled because you travel worldwide. You're international individual, an
And international.
international businesswoman. Now,
Yes.
can I ask you something? While
Hmm.
in Boston, yeah,
Hmm.
what are you seeing that is different? How are you living different as a result of the COVID-19 virus? Mm-hmm.
Well, for one, I haven't been outdoors. I've been indoors for about 20 days now.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe about 17 days. I haven't been outside at all. One of those reasons is because I have an underlying condition. I have asthma, and it's this time of year it gets very serious because of the allergies and everything else that goes along with it that offset it. So I have to be very careful. And just looking at what's going on, or from the statistics that are coming out of Boston, they're not looking very good. To be frank with you, last week when I look at the statistics, it was 9,000 cases confirmed. When I looked last night, it's over 18,000. So for it to
Wow.
double, that's a concern for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been indoors, and well, I would say my home is big enough, so I'm able to go from room to room if I ever get bored.
Mm-hmm.
you know so I've been taking advantage of that, as well as because I have taken some of the business that I'm unable to do to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an ardent traveler. I travel a lot, especially this time of year is when it is that things would be kicking off. Because I was looking forward to release the song for the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
I was also planning to release the book, use that platform, and I've been unable to. Everything was built around 2020 in terms of what I have going on, not necessarily what every artist on the label as a priority. They're not all a priority right now, because you have to have some that are on different levels than others right now. But my
Mm-hmm.
2020 was all set in terms of what I needed to done. So the book would
Okay.
have actually come out in July, and the Olympics finish in August, and then
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 months of tour that's actually secured already in the US. And then in
Mm-hmm.
November and December, I would be between um, Africa and some parts of other parts of the world for November and December.
Okay.
So I don't see that happening this year. The one,
Mm-hmm.
because the Olympics is changed to next year.
Yeah.
So does that mean I have more time on my hands? No, not necessarily, because of COVID-19. We
Okay.
now have to push all those things that I would have been able to get done before July. I still have to push them a little bit further.
Mm. Yeah. Also, I'd like to just let each and every one of y'all know the link is available to share on your Facebook, WhatsApp. I've just shared the link on my my Facebook page. Emily, I've sent it to you as well. So if you guys check in, you could share it and people could come on and view in the show. Um,
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Empress Rose. I'd like to
Hmm.
also find out about, you said there's physical aspects to this, there's financial aspect to this, the
Hmm.
community that you live in is being affected by the Emily, you want to ask Empress anything at this time?
Yeah, so obviously, looking forward to all these different events that you'll have to sort of replan, as you say, necessarily time off for you now. In fact, you may be busier because you've got so much that you've now got to sort out and rearrange. I really just want to know how you are feeling as a person. You know, has this affected you mentally in any way? You say you're staying completely inside. Do you have any outdoor space? How are you actually feeling? Have you been impacted emotionally in any way?
Of course. And thanks for asking, because I think that generally our community don't ask those questions. Um, we're we're assuming, the best and the worst from everyone, and especially when it is that you are the head of your company, that people look to you as the one that should be the backbone of everything, and not so much that we ourselves are affected. Yes, I'm affected. I would like to go outside. And I'm not getting to go outside. I'm an outdoor person. It's a time of year where it is that I was looking forward to, yes, to be running some hills, apart from being outside working with the athletes as well. Uh, Travel, that's affected as well. So yes, these things are pushed back. So even if I don't have my tour for September, October, November, December, now I have to create all new schedules and goals for everyone that's on the label or that's not even on the label as well, because there are other things that I do that's just involve the label but involve other works as well. So all those schedules has to be adjusted, amended for all of that, and my schedule has to be adjusted as well. So it's kind of tough. I think 10 days ago, I one day I just for the whole day I didn't do anything. I was just so overwhelmed with what was going on and how it is that I had to pick up the pieces with so many different things that I had going on. One of my assistants actually ended up with coronavirus, and so of course that means more work for me. Um, so it affects me big time. So for myself now, I had to think about, now I have to jump in and I have to do some of those things, and I have to make sure that I function as a company and eliminate what I can right now and the things that are of priority, to prioritize them and to move forward, such as the album that was to be released the first week in April, that will be released August 24th of this month. And with doing that, I had to plan works around the album to include other online activities, that is, move some of the things online as well.
And what are you doing to make sure that you look after yourself?
I've been trying to get more rest. That's not working too well, however. So I've been trying to take that in stages, because I am an internationalist. We work on various times. I have a lot of different things that are a lot of different relationships with Africa, so to speak, and I have relationships with the UK and persons in Europe. So what happens is that when I'm going to bed is when they're waking up, and there's conference calls to be made, there are questions that needs to be answered, and I cannot be up for 24 hours. So yes, those things have to be adjusted, because when I'm going to sleep and I'm like, you know what, let me just turn off this WhatsApp as it's close to my bed, because I know that the people are going to wake up and now I'm going to start getting a lot more messages, which is what has been going on. But working it out for myself, I think that at this point now I'm handling it very well. One of the things is that because I had to take this album and figure out if I should release it or should postpone the date or even release it or wait until COVID-19, the process of pushing it back and being able to put new things in place was quite overwhelming. It was quite overwhelming. I did a documentary, which was my first documentary, and I just throw myself in the fire and said, this needs to
Okay,
happen.
first of all, what's the name of that documentary? Can we see it? Where can people go look for it?
The name is called Making Anthropology. So the album,
Anthropology.
yes, the
Why you
album.
chose that name, Anthropology?
Well, the what happened is that the album itself, part of our process is that we acquire the work or we produce the work for the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And this album is pretty intensive. It's the songs are just to die for. And it's not just to die for, but it's about the material. We're talking about relevancy. So, it's there. It's authentic. It's classical album that will live on for years and years and years, and people will be able to apply knowledge to what exactly fuel this album. But when we first sat down as a team of 7 and we did the review for the album, we couldn't agree on one particular title. So we had to come back a second time and we talk about it and how we'd go about it. And I decided that, we'll choose one title that doesn't have anything to do with the name of one of the songs, because ordinarily most times persons use the name of one of the songs of their album to say, here's what we're going to name the album. So I thought about the different aspect of the album, the visual, the narrative as it pertains to the songs and stuff, and I came up with the title Anthropology. Anthropology because it is that this album itself, there are scientific parts of it that applies to us as human beings.
In what sense? Why do you say there's a scientific point
Well,
pointed to us as human beings?
by study, theorists have used anthropology to base subjects such as linguistic, ethnology, and anatomy based on or being, judging from behavior in societies in the past and what's going on in the present. And the album itself speaks volumes volume in terms of what the experiences that we are experiencing right now and how much anthropology has applied to us even till today, and what parts are being explored and which parts are being not explored for whatever reasons. So with the documentary is called Making Anthropology, and it can be found on YouTube. Just type in Making Anthropology and it will come up as well as it's you can view it on my personal website. My personal website is www.eyettegreen.com. That's eyettegreen.com as well. So yes.
Now I'm going to come back to a very personal issue. Has it affected your love life? Has the COVID-19 affect your love life? I'm going to lighten things up a bit. Has the COVID-19 affected your love life?
Oh gosh, I'll tell you, it did. That's a question.
In what way did it affect your love life?
Prepared. And that's a question I wasn't prepared for. By the
way, a lot
of
people forget about that. You've been isolated for near 3 weeks.
Yeah,
you stayed indoors. You're not socializing, so the COVID-19 is having an impact on your social life. Okay, so we can't meet nobody. I know it's affected my love life. I started dating just before COVID-19, and then poof, poof. Can't go on any dates anymore. You can't go anywhere anymore. You can't even kiss a guy anymore, or girls if that's what people are into.
Well,
how did it affect your love life?
Well, for myself, I'm an ardent traveler. I'm always traveling, so right now I'm just chilling.
You're just chilling.
Okay, now let's go code word.
You mentioned being isolated for almost 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yes.
Apart from the social isolation, it had an impact on the financial. And
Yes.
I'd like to know, with all the community groups you're involved in,
Hmm.
what are you seeing outside of your home? Like on television, you'll see some things going on, but
Right.
are you still interacting with your neighbors? Are you still greeting your neighbors from afar? Are people helping the vulnerable in the society where you are?
Yes.
Are
Well,
you seeing any of that?
um, now, as it pertains to like my well-being in terms of me being home, and in terms of socializing, I'm socializing more with the athletes. I do athletics, but my athletes are not all in Boston. As a matter of fact, they're not all in Massachusetts. So I travel as well to ensure that some of the athletes are where they are supposed to be in terms of their training. Um, but locally, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I am a board member at one of the largest law firm in Massachusetts,
Mm-hmm.
home to over 2,000 attorneys. And
Mm-hmm.
we have to come up with some of the, processes now. We have to put ourselves in the fire and says, okay, how are we going to help the community?
Mm-hmm.
My personal ability being there is to assist my community. And
But you're
now we have to
isolated for the last almost 3 weeks. So how are you? How is that getting done?
No, we've been doing this online, and of
Mm-hmm.
course the persons that are out there, my hats off to them, who are the ones that are going to the courtrooms to ensure that clients of ours do not get thrown outside, to ensure that persons who are unable to provide for their kids, that they do have a way of getting the best care still. Persons who might not have health insurance, that there are persons that are taking them to ensure that this still happens. And we stay connected with that community online by different persons checking in and ensuring, because you cannot be in a space with so many much people because of COVID-19. So we have to do a lot of those things has to be done offline, I mean online, but then there is an offline list of persons that are taking care of the particulars as well. We have seen a spike in unemployment across the US. There is a spike in Massachusetts as well in terms of persons who either don't have a job anymore. And I must tell you, I'm loving Massachusetts, because Massachusetts is one of those places that looks out for its residents and ensure that you're taken care of. And they're doing a very good job.
That's really good to hear. That's because
Yeah.
it's such an uncertain time, isn't it? And people are being laid off from work and finding themselves in positions they wouldn't have expected to be in. And where I am, you've got people from all different walks of life, and some people are now having to apply to the benefit system, and that some people's lives have completely changed. I'm just wondering what you think life will be like after all of this, and do you have any personal hopes for what things may be like after COVID-19?
Most definitely, there's going to be a shift in various industries. Right now, there are persons who have been traditionally used to doing business by waking up every day and going to work, and they're learning new systems in terms of, oh, I have to do this from my home, and how do I get online, and which button it is that I'm supposed to press to
Mm.
ensure that I do a conference call. And it speaks volume. We there I have international artists where for years I have been saying to them that take advantage of performing online. There's an online community. There's so much different ways in terms of you marketing and promoting your services, that you should take advantage of it. Now we are seeing those same artists who did not want to do that, they're begging. I need to get online so that I could speak with my fans, and that I could play music for them. And by all means, it is a little bit easier from when it is that I I spoke to them about it. We now have Instagram where you can go live. You could go Facebook live. You could go everywhere live right now.
Mm.
One of the things, though, is that I encourage, especially our musicians that are going online, that they think about the impact and how much it will impact their career. So, with doing it, to do it in a positive way, and so that it can enhance their career, and not just to do it to be online doing stupid things that's going to affect their career. I think what we see that's going to happen over the next few years as well is that they're going to have to implement cyber laws. They're going to have to be a little bit more effective in terms of that. And again, that's where anthropology comes in place, because our theorists and anthropologists have been studying about this, and that's one of the concerns that they have as it pertains to cyber attacks online. And it's alive and well, and it's something that you need to look forward to, as the new age is going to be talking a little bit more about being
Mm.
online and being more online.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a really, really interesting concept, and it's so relevant as what's
Yes.
happening today, because we are seeing people changing from the regular 9 to 5, going into the office work. I know a few people
Hmm.
who are working from home, and they were saying to themselves, well, why did their bosses didn't, or their jobs didn't do this before,
Yeah.
instead of them jumping and commuting. So
Hmm.
the whole way of people working from home, accessing their workplace from home, maybe going into work once a week to touch base, is going to change the face of the service industry, the financial industry, and the music industry, and a lot of things worldwide. Um,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering,
It's
in
definitely.
this period of confinement and a lockdown worldwide, we're experiencing a
Hmm.
lockdown as well. This is why we're having this conversation. The COVID
Yes.
19 is taking its toll, and everybody is sort of like panicking, staying indoors. We want to make sure we are safe, we are healthy. What are your fears for your loved ones? How how does COVID-19 affect your interaction with your loved ones, your family, your friends, and everything like that?
Um, I am a introvert.
Mm.
I had to learn to deal with that because of the business that I'm in. And what I do mean by that is that some may label it as, oh, a loner, but I'm not somebody who actually are in a lot of groups, so to speak, like a group amongst, like, oh, every weekend we have to meet up as friends and stuff like that. No, I'm considered a workaholic on the other hand. So I'm always working, even when I'm not supposed to work. So that that may be something that in the future, I know you're talking about the love life and stuff like that, that maybe I need a distraction along the way. But as it pertains to the business itself, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
introvert, and for years it
Mm-hmm.
took me a while to get to this level, to even
Mm.
be able to do public speaking and stuff like that. And I did it little by little until it is that I became out there. But there are certain things that I just don't
Mm.
involve myself with. So you won't find me in a group of persons like, oh, I have to be somewhere on
Okay.
a weekend. As it pertains to the loved ones at home, um, I have a story that's quite interesting. So my son went away when this COVID-19 first happened, and he said, oh, I'm going
Mm.
somewhere for 2 days. Okay. And I'm
Mm.
like, do you have to go? Yes, he has to go. I said, okay, but wherever you're going, I'm telling you, when you come back, you have to take a test that says you don't have COVID-19 before you come in this house. And he thought I was playing. And so he got to, when he came back, and he's ringing a bell and he's wondering, oh, no, the door's not opening. I was come to the door and I said, well, do you have that test? I need to see it that you don't have COVID-19 before you come in here. And he said, are you serious? He had to go get tested, come back to get into his house. So yeah, we're all good.
Did he get the test?
Yes.
Is he okay? Did he?
Mm,
How'd
it's
it go?
fine. Yes.
So is he living with you now then? or not?
Yes.
Okay, how
Well,
old is he?
he doesn't live with me, but he's always here. And if he's going to be here, then yes, I want to make
Yeah,
sure that,
because you can't be popping in and out and in and
yeah,
out, and you know, you with asthma, and you know, you need to be so careful. So,
yeah,
are you
yes.
kind of like completely alone now? Has he got to stay away?
Oh no, he's always here. He's always
Okay,
here. Yeah. Yeah.
okay. How
And
old is he?
24.
Okay. You don't look old enough. You
I
don't
know.
look old enough.
I get that all the
I'm
time.
coming in. I'm like, no, this is
I I
wow.
I get that all the time. However,
Yeah.
it's I don't know, maybe it's good genes or being able to smile
Mm.
and be happy a lot. So that works for
Yeah.
me as well.
Yeah, and the energy that you have as well,
Mhm.
you know, to do all of these different things. You're always on the go, and you're learning about other people, and I think all of that helps, you know, with that, keeping that youthfulness as well, keeping yourself occupied and busy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, COVID-19 has changed the agenda a little bit,
Mm,
but we're doing well in terms of pushing things back and getting things done on schedule. I'm a sucker for having a schedule and having goals and
mm,
following through. And it's nothing like that, because if there weren't any schedules
mm,
right now, um we'd be having more issues in terms of things to do, or a little bit more
mm.
stressed out. So, good thing for myself, I'm able to do that. So the
Yeah.
documentary, for instance, is part of the album project, and it has garnished new relationships. And that's the beauty of COVID-19. There's good and there's bad to it, of course. It's all around bad, but it also brings out the best and the worst in some of the situations. So whereas it was my first time doing a documentary, now I have people in wait asking me to do documentaries for them.
Mhm.
I have the music community, the music and entertainment community that has reached out to me and says, I've never seen anyone do a documentary based on an upcoming album. And you're the first person to do it, and they
It's
love
so
it.
brilliant. That's so brilliant because it's like you're expanding your dialogue, you're expanding your skills, everything is
Hmm.
just growing, you're expanding in every way.
Yeah.
No matter what barriers you have, you're overcoming them before you even realize there were barriers. You just
Yes.
clear them. You just went and cleared them before, you know what I mean, Emily? What do you think
Mhm.
about that, Emily? Because she's doing things she's never done before.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just coming out naturally. It's like your talents are being multiplied. And I'm really impressed with that, Empress.
I am
You're
too. I am
like
too.
a pioneer in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank
And you
you.
didn't set out to be a pioneer, but you ended up being a pioneer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Have
I
you,
feel like
can I ask you something? I'm going to be naughty and jumped in because we're coming to the end of our podcast. And I would like to find out, is there anything that you do differently now in the future you would be doing differently as a result of the pandemic, 2020 pandemic, COVID-19? Anything that you'll take from this experience and take it forward in your
Well,
future life?
I think for myself, I wouldn't say that there's nothing that I wouldn't take from this. However, it has enhanced some of the things that I already. People wait for New Year's resolution. I didn't wait for New Year's resolution to realize that I was working too hard and I need to, um, have a day for myself, or to have 2 days for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So with COVID 19, it has definitely going forward that yes, I need 1 or 2 days off in order to do everything, because you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you
Very
cannot
important.
get the job done
Mm-hmm.
that you would like to have done. When I did that documentary, I did it in 6 days,
Mm-hmm.
and
Don't
I
make it
went.
sound too for everybody else, okay? They might say, oh, she just did it so easily. No. And then there's the technology involved in this and a lot of smarts.
A lot of smarts. I did it in
A
six
lot of
days.
smarts.
I did it in 6 days. However, um, pushing the envelope and doing it for 6 days, I didn't take any rest off at all. And I told myself, well, when I hear there's a documentary, I'm going to take the day off. And then you're not prepared. I wasn't prepared for what
You're
would
not
happen
prepared for
that
the
day.
aftermath.
Exactly. So what happened is I'm looking at, okay, I finished the documentary and I'm going to take the next day off. And I couldn't get the next day off because it doesn't help that I'm a perfectionist. So then I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is the number so low in terms of what's coming in? And of course, I reached out to one of my mentor. I had someone that got contacted me actually from one of the bigger radio stations and told me that they saw the documentary and they gave me some insights. I've never spoken to anyone at this network before, but they told me, they said, I hope you're not beating yourself up, because I think they suspected that I was being very quiet within the conversation. And they told me, it's like, just understand that a documentary is 10 times a music video and you're from the music world. And when someone does a music video, you're grabbing your attention for 2 to 3 minutes. Here, you're grabbing somebody's attention for 30 minutes. That's 10 times more the time. So the fact that there are persons that have actually gone in and watched your documentary and given it 10 times the amount to see it, applaud yourself. And they told me, says, one of the reasons they call is because they have never seen anyone in music that actually did a documentary based on, So I have a combat in essence, but of course, each one will be better, because now that I completed that, persons may look at it and say, well, she did well, but in my eyes as a perfectionist, I see where I could have done better.
Yeah, you pick all these little details. Yes. I know exactly what it's like. But
Emily's mic is muted.
If we wait until something is absolutely perfect,
Emily's
and
mic
we
is
are
muted, so I cannot
ready,
hear her at all, or she cannot hear me.
I can hear you, Empress Rose. I'm so sorry if you can't hear me. Just in terms of being a perfectionist, I find it can really hold you back and be a huge waste of time. So to actually go out there and do
cannot hear
and then learn from it, then I think that's the best way to approach something.
Cannot hear you at all. It's muted.
Oh, you've lost me.
Cannot hear. Let's see. Let's go to chat.
Oh, it's the beauty of live streaming across the ocean. We can hear you, Joan.
Yeah, I could hear everybody loud and clear. We had a bit of break in transmission. We apologize for our viewers for that. I'm getting back into my frame. Oh, perfect. Nice to see you girls once more. I'm sorry for that. I was hearing everybody, so I was like praying everybody continue, just going to. But we're about to close up now. And I'd like to thank Empress Rose for being our guest today on the, yay! Congratulations, Empress Rose, for being our guest on the Pandemic 2020 Diary. And my co-host, Emily Blake, I'm going to let you ride out with the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, Joan. It's been brilliant to present alongside you. And what an honor to speak to someone as accomplished, as super busy and talented in so many different ways as Empress Rose. So thank you so much, Empress, for getting up so early and speaking to us today.
Thank you so much, Empress. Thank you so much, Emily, for being my co-host on the show today. And we're going to be doing this a bit more often. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Be safe.